talking if you never gonna listen? So many nights I cried. You were supposed to be there to wipe the tears from my eyes. I just had to realize that the pictures that you painted weren't true stories, but all lies. How can I get back to me after I stooped down to your level? Made shit worse than ever. This wasn't how it's supposed to be. We were supposed to be together, make it through whatever. I'm trying to find my way back, trying to find my way back.
All right. Welcome back to another Storyteller episode of the Chatterbox with yours truly, King Jacob. Now, shout out to my girl Sanabi, on the intro. That was Sanabi, young lady out of Miami. That I like them two R&B heads. So, nonetheless, we're gonna get into it, man. So, this evening, on tonight, we have none other than Ladii Girl is in the building. What's happening? What's
Hey,
happening?
good evening. What up, though?
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm all right. Relaxing today.
Okay. So before we get started with your remarkable journey, and if anybody know anything about the music industry, the music business, it's definitely been a journey for any artist. So we will say that. But inquiring minds will want to know who is Ladii Girl.
Who is Lady Girl? Whew, that is loaded. That is a loaded question. I am I am a woman first. I'm a mother, I'm a sister, an auntie, a friend. I am the nurturer, the guider, and everything in between. I'm a
Okay,
woman.
okay. That's what's up. That's what's up. And what part of the country do you hail from?
I was born in Boston, Massachusetts, and I live right outside of Boston, 45 minutes in Worcester, Massachusetts. I've lived in places like New York. I lived in Indianapolis, Indiana, Kokomo, Indiana for a little bit. I've been around.
Okay, okay. And with that being said, um, what what was that music scene like growing up in Boston?
Music in Boston was just embedded in my soul. I come from a very musical family. Maurice Starr's my great uncle. Groups like the Superiors, my cousin came out of that group. They had the hit Step by Step that New Kids on the Block actually blew up with. It was the Superior song first. And then my mom growing up was had Donna Summers around. They grew up together. They used to do their musical thing together. Donna, went forward. And she's like, telling me, she's like, if anybody asks you and they doubting you, you tell them her real name. And
Hmm.
I said,
Hmm.
okay, I will. But yeah, we just had that conversation the other day. But Boston for me, was just music and good times and growing up around music. Worcester too, because Worcester really played a pivotal role in growing up in my mom's household. And she always had groups and there was always bands and my uncles, played. I still have a cousin who makes violins, like all kind of things. So music is definitely embedded.
Okay. So when did it start for you? So, um, we be around our parents, and because I'm I'm from South Carolina, so I grew up in the church myself, and so and my daddy loved to sing quartet music. He went from church to church singing quartet music, so he would drag us along with him, and you had to get up there and sing. So, with that being said, when did you and your parents know that? When did your mother say that my baby got a gift?
Well, she didn't say that. It's always in my 30s, but
So put like this: when did she know, but she just didn't say it?
I think she knew early on when I was like really small, like I'm saying like 5, 6. I think she knew, because at that time I was in the church choir at AME Zion Baptist Church here in Worcester. And from there, like I've always written. I got into the all city choir, the all state choir. I was in choir in school. Like it was just nonstop. I learned how to write sheet music. I could play a few different instruments. My uncle taught me some things. My son now plays acoustic guitar. Like it's still like it's passing along generations. But yeah, at a very, very early age, I always wrote. Writing was always my first love, above singing, really. I just like to write and, you know, in the home, just like flipping records. My mom had the whole vinyl collection of every record you could think of. And, on the B side, a lot of them had instrumentals.
Right.
Yeah. And so we would just throw on the instrumental, my brother and I, and I'd write to that or I would like sing their songs like over the instrumental. It was always there. And so this like 5 or 6, and it just never kind of stopped. We lived like in the projects, and right across the hall from us was a YMCA, like a cell YMCA. And Diane ran the YMCA, her and Jim, Jim Williams and Diane Best. And she put like a little group together for us. And she was like, "You're soprano and you're alto," and we just formed a little group. So it's always been there. And
Right.
it just never stopped, really.
Okay. Okay. So I want to go back to something that you said, and you know, I interview a lot of artists. I work with tons of artists, but when I hear an artist say they know how to read sheet music, that
Yes.
just that just reminds me of the old school people that would stop the piano player and stop the drummer or the guitar player, and their feet and their hands kind of make the beat, but the old man that knew how to read sheet music and taught the rest of the choir how to read sheet music, he was something special. You know what I mean? And so, not many people know how to read sheet music nowadays. Not many singers know how to read sheet music. So, tell us about your experience of learning how to read the sheet music.
That was partially the church and partially my grandmother. My grandmother was she was a very stern woman. And
Hmm.
she wanted you to know those things that probably most people don't think about. Nobody thinks about learning how to read sheet music and write and form notes on lines and what should go where and when to put the rest and where this should go and that should go. Nobody knows that.
Hmm.
But I know that. And it stuck with me, especially because I wanted to write songs and I think she knew that. So while, you come home from school, and this is elementary, you come home from school, and I played instruments in elementary school. They used to have violin, flute, tambourine, stuff like that. I always played the violin and I always played the flute when I had a choice. And that was part
Hmm.
of the homework assignments was to write the music. You had to write the music. And so in order for it to be perfect, she was on top of me. And then she went even further because she had like Catholic school upbringing. And it was like, if you're going to do your ABCs, you're going to do them 1,000 times. If you're going to do sheet music, you're going to write it 1,000 times. You're going to learn it. It's going to be embedded.
Right,
You're going
right,
to
right.
know it. And so from that, learning the sheet music, putting words to it, finding the melodies, everything played, composing really, how to compose. And that it was just in the household, in school, in church. So you had to know those things.
I just want to say, I have a lot of friends with different nationalities, and black people who sing gospel music are really different. Um, you know, people be like, man, when you tell them, oh no, bro, we can't hoop today, or I can't go to the movie day, man. We got
choir
choir
rehearsal.
rehearsal. They be like,
You know
they be like, so is it gonna be take you an hour or two? I was like, I don't know how long it's gonna take because when you even back then, even though you had somebody who directed the choir, you still had older people who come and sit in. They wanted to make sure the director knew was leading you right. You know, getting you up on your notes, whether the piano player was in a C note, a B note, or D note, or whether the tenors was gonna start the chorus off first, and then you have the altos come in and the sopranos will be last, and then you had the lead. So I just think that community love in music is all us black and brown people ever had. And I think that's why we have been so great at some are greater than others and some are great on the business side. You know what I'm saying? But they have an ear for it. And I just think like when you say your grandma, you know, I remember my grandma saying, "No, they ain't how they go. Sit right here on the bed. Let me show you how they go." She said, no, 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 no. First of all, you starting too high. Don't do that. It's gonna throw the rest of the choir out of pitch. So no, no,
hmm
let me show you how to go. So, I can appreciate that growing up reading that sheet music and learning how to write those notes is something different. A lot of producers wouldn't even understand that because a lot of the new age producers didn't grow up in the church. You know what I mean? You know,
hmm
they might have played band or something like that, but growing up in that black church is very different, very different. So as time went on, tell me about your very, very first performance.
Oh, my very first performance. I want to say, I think it was at, um, it was in Hyannis, I believe, at Puffer Bellies. And excuse me, I wasn't even ready to perform. I didn't know I was performing.
Okay.
I had a manager and he was like, come on, we're going to go out. I want you to see how the shows are conducted. So it was like 2012, 2013. And I said, okay, because I've never done a show. Like I sang in the house. I sang in the studio when I first recorded. Just I sang for people like outside in public here, there, and everywhere just because they wanted to hear. And it was like something really quick, but it was never like a full on in front of a whole crowd of people. And
Hmm.
so this day in particular, we walked in and all of a sudden I'm hearing the guy on the mic and he's emceeing and he was like, oh, we have an R&B singer in the house. I'm not knowing he's talking about me. And all of a sudden somebody just tapped the mic and was like, give us what you got. And I'm like, huh? Hey, I couldn't think of anything. The first thing that popped into my mind was like, Amy Winehouse, why not? I mean, that's real easy, it's quick. And
Hmm.
so that's kind of
Hmm.
what I did. But like it taught me a lesson to be ready, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. But I just was
Hmm.
not expecting it. I thought I was just going to spectate. And yeah,
Hmm.
he just threw me in the deep end. So that was the first time I could say I
and and
actually performed.
and that's the way it normally works. They throw you in the eternal lakes of fire and say, let me see what you will do on stage. So
hmm
that'll give us an idea on what you need to work on stage. So it sounds like you even surprised yourself. It sounds like it went pretty well.
It did because like I had no preparation. I was not my mind wasn't even there. It's like a packed club. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to shimmy through and just taking all the sights and the surroundings and the atmosphere and see what's going on. And as soon as
Hmm.
that mic came my way, I was like, oh, okay. I guess we're doing this now. But I had to think quick on my feet of what to sing because my mind kind of drew a blank because I wasn't thinking I was gonna sing. A heads up would have been nice. Like, hey, they might pass you the mic. So I could have been in my mind mentally choosing a good song to sing.
Right, 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 right. Okay, okay. So So as time went on and the word got out that man, this girl can sing, man. You need to hear it. So once the word got out that you were this phenomenal singer, you know, how did you perceive, you know, the people that always, wanted you to sing or always ask you when you're doing your next show? And so, what type of feeling was that like for you?
It's a great feeling. I mean, it still feels great to this day. Even as recent as yesterday, they were like, "Are you singing today?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just here, like, to be here."
Hmm.
But um, it feels good. It's still like, I mean, I'm humbled, always, always humbled that people actually want to hear me sing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like it's so because
Right.
it's a surreal thing. Maybe a few years from now, I'll be used to it. Right now, I'm still not used to it. As long as, I've been doing it, it's still kind of like, wow, you're asking me to? Like, other than like, the family barbecues and little get togethers and stuff like that, unless I'm like
Hmm.
booked, I really don't sing. Like, every now and then, my friends will be like, "You want to go to karaoke?" And I'm like, "I'm spectating. I'll go and spectate because I want everybody else to have a good
Hmm.
time and do their thing." But um, yeah, I try not to sing unless you know I'm actually booked to do so, unless I'm rehearsing or family. When it's family, I don't mind. We can sing it up all day long. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
but yeah, like there's some videos floating around where I did do like a karaoke night and stuff like that, and that's because one of my friends begged me to sing Whitney Houston with her. So I was like, okay.
Right,
I
right,
said,
right,
I'll,
right,
I'll
right,
take
right.
the first half. You take the second half.
Okay, okay. And so, with that being said, tell me about your very first studio single.
My very first studio session, whew, it's hard to like kind of figure out which one was the first because I've made and written a lot of songs in my bedroom. I've made and
Okay,
written and sang a lot of songs in a closet.
okay,
um, so if we want to talk about studio sessions, that's where it happens for me is in the bedroom, maybe a closet. But I would lay down the track. Sometimes in the early stages, my brother would mix and master them for me. Then I actually, linked up with a couple good engineers and studios, and I started sending my work to them because I would still record at home because as an independent artist, studio sound is expensive. So, you know,
there they
you
are.
utilize the equipment you have, and most studios you can send in your vocals and your stems and stuff like that, and they can mix it down for you. Um, but there are occasions where I do book studio time. I want to be in studio and actually sing it in the studio and sit there during the mix and mastering process. Um, but yeah, those early stages, those early songs, those was recorded in a closet.
Okay, so would you say from you understanding and learning how to record? So did you still do a lot of pre-production yourself and just sending in to get mixed and mastered?
Yes, I do a lot of
Okay.
pre-production. That's my writing style. So some people can take a paper and a pad and sit there and write. Most of my songs are like
Hmm.
maybe the first verse, if that, in its entirety. A couple sentences might be the only thing that I wrote down with the pen. Everything else is recorded. I have to lay it down while I'm doing it because I'm arranging. I can erase anything and re-sing it or move this over or sing this different or add this here. There, I have to hear it in order to know like
Okay.
okay, it's flowing how I want it to flow. And then once
Okay.
I get that all together, because I cannot do the production part of things, like, I need somebody who's either a really, really good producer, which I had on Entanglement, like elevated me 100%. That was EA Sports, DJ EA Sports, and she was drumming out of Boston. And then on the other songs, on the EP, I had Diamond Bars out of Orlando, and we were in studio for most of it, and then I sent him the rest of it. But um, that part of it, I can't do. I got good ears, but they are not that good.
Yeah, I mean, even when we look at a good engineer, a good music producer, they are totally different because a lot of music producers will tell you, "I'm a music producer. I'm not an engineer."
Yeah,
An engineer,
yes,
has a lot of technical things that they understand when it comes to sound. And I tell people the best engineers that I've seen is people who used to do sound for live bands and concerts, and then they became an engineer.
oh yes,
Those people be such good engineers. So
yes.
with that being said, the very first time you heard yourself on the radio, walk us through that feeling.
I wanted to cry. I did. I wanted to cry. I
Hmm.
was like, oh my God, I'm on the radio. And it was just like
Hmm.
everybody and everything just stopped and was like, oh my God, that's you. You're on the radio. And I was like, I am. And then, like, as I'm hearing it, my phone is ringing and people are like, I hear you on the radio. And I'm like, I know, I hear me too. I don't know how I feel about this.
Hmm.
Like, I
So
didn't
this
know
was
how to receive it.
this was back home in Boston.
Yes, yes. I didn't know
Okay.
how to receive it. It was just like, I don't know. It was one of those, I wasn't numb, but I think I was in shock, really. Like, wow, wow. And I think it was when I had that moment alone that I just really sat and I just prayed, like, in my mind, I'm like, word, I was on the radio.
Yes, 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 yes. Great, 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 great. So, you know, um, I tell people when it comes to the music business, you know, a lot has transpired since they went to the digital era. Um, in for those of us who worked in the analog era and had to learn to work in the digital era, what is what's some things you've learned when the music industry moved over to the digital era that that you kind of had to just sit back and think and be like, man, this is so different from where we used to be in music.
Yeah, so really, the promotional part of things. It's easy to put your song out there. It can get lost in the shuffle.
Hmm.
This whole hashtags, actually like boosting your post, not botting it, no bots, but boosting it so that it's reaching the maximum amount of people.
Right.
Everything is it's a cash business, really. You got to pay for everything. So it's
You do.
just really having a good marketing and promotion strategy and budget behind it. Um, is something that's different because I know back in the day you can get your record pressed up, you can have a bunch of CDs, you could have cassette tapes or whatever the case is, and have a whole street team with flyers and everything, go plaster everywhere. It's different now. So now all of that effort that your street team would do or footwork you would do is all in the digital way. So you have to strategize in that way. And,
Mhm.
I kinda do that. I think my son, he's 28, and so that's his age range. So I'm like, "What should I do? How should I do it?" I'm still
Mhm.
trying to figure out how to put the, videos together the right way, and edit them down and, do things like that just for, like, little reels and stuff like that because attention spans are no longer than 30 seconds. So you gotta really show up in 30 seconds and it's almost like an elevator pitch. This is who I am, this is what I do, this is why you should follow me, buy my music, whatever the case may be. Um, and in 30 seconds or less, with a good score behind it.
Right, 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 right. So with that being said, tell me about what you understand about the music business now versus then. Because I tell people it's 95% business and it's 5% music. And so, with that being said, what are some key value lessons that you had to understand and learn upon your journey?
I thank God for my family first and foremost on this topic because they're very business oriented. But I do have to be clear. In the beginning, I didn't have family help. I didn't really want family help because I didn't want people to think that I was making it because of the family that I come out of.
Hmm.
So I was just doing everything on my own. So I was really bumping my head against the brick wall repeatedly. Um, you know, I cannot stress it enough. It is a cash business. It's a business. You can have all the talent in the world, if you don't know the business side of things, and I've run into a lot of artists that are A-list artists that were really doing it back in the 90s and, you know, even recently that didn't make money because they didn't know the business side of things. They just wanted to make music, perform, and it looks great, but you're not getting paid for your talent, your time, your effort, your energy, everything that you've put in. So all of that studio time, everything like that costs money. You're not recouping any of it. So I guess just knowing the pitfalls, watching out for people because you do have to keep your grass cut low. There's like a bug in here flying around, but you have to keep your grass cut low and just watch out and be smart and trust your gut, and if you know better, you'll do better. Ask questions if it doesn't sound right, and even if somebody's talking real fast, listen even faster.
Right. So this what I would say for me being in the music business for so long, being anything from a street promoter, club promoter, to a manager, to a publicist, to managing bands that do Motown reviews, and so I've did some of everything on the business side. So for indie artists, I would say this to independent artists: any independent artist should work on brand deals and music sync licensing, because until you get to that next plateau in your music career, the sync licensing is what's going to get you paid so you can put more marketing back into your music. I
Mhm,
was talking to this rock band, and they was like, they don't even go outside to perform. All they do is sit in their garage and make
mhm.
music for TV, film, documentary, video games. You know what I mean? And they was like, we probably would never get on stage again, man, because it's so different. And so, we came out in the '90s and we toured all over Europe and all over. But they was like, nowadays, man, work on brand deals and music sync licensing. So I would tell each independent artist, understand what a brand deal is, understand how the music sync licensing works. You know what I mean? That can definitely get you paid for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
Because the TV and the film and the video game and the documentary money is way more than music money. It's not even close. So, that's what I would say.
you're absolutely right. And I do have all of my tracks that have been released actually are in a whole bunch of different sync libraries right now. So that
Okay.
I am familiar with. Um, so yes, that is a great thing for artists to do, especially the independent artists. Like talk to
Mhm.
people who are knowledgeable, who know things like that. That
Okay.
can, you know, plant that seed, even if they don't give you all the information, know enough to go research and figure it out and find out and maybe ask questions to other people, you know what I mean, who may know. Yeah, so I think I have my team is actually working with, I don't know who they're working with. They don't tell me all that, but they're working with somebody for the sync licensing. But I also do things on my own. So I also have it in another spot that I think I got 75 libraries right now that my tracks are in, different ones.
Okay.
And
Okay.
knowing the process, knowing that you have to be patient because it's in the library, but it has to be chosen. you
Right.
know,
Right. It
so
does. It does. It does. It
yeah.
does. And so let me ask you this as well. As far as for you, do you want to stay independent or do you want to sign with a major label?
I wrestled with that for the longest time, really. At this point, I want to stay independent, but what I will do is I will sell some of my songs. I'll sell songs. I write for people, but as an artist, I would prefer at this point in time maybe just to stay independent and invest in myself, because the way that the business is set up now is totally different from how it used to be. And people don't understand, when you sign to a label, it sounds good, but what it is just a loan with interest. And the contract could be crazy. You could not own your masters. You could, you have to recoup all of the money that they gave to you before you start getting any money back. So it's a lot of things that make me want to stay independent when it comes to a label. Would I love the distribution? Would I love the financial backing for promotion and marketing? Absolutely. But the only way to recoup that money is if you're selling out tours, merchandise, and getting brand sponsorships, or like that kind of stuff. Other than that, I just rather stay independent
Mhm.
and go that route. And if people are really into what I do and they support what I do, I'll build my community. My community will come, my community will support me. And that's what I'm hoping to do. I don't want to call people fans. I think fans is like 1980s. When Michael Jackson was, huge, he had fans. They were fainting and everything. I just want community. So when we gather, it feels like a function, like family. Everybody's comfortable and relaxed and enjoying themselves and having a good time.
Well, let me say this from me working on the executive side, um, about an artist signing with a label. Um, in order to understand what you're signing with a label, before you even get to the label, you have to really understand the business. And so, with that being said, I think that understanding what's in that black bold fine print, because the document be 140 pages long. If nobody's ever seen a Universal or a Sony contract, those documents are very, 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 very long. And there's a lot of lingo in those pages that these artists is not going that the average artist won't understand. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna say it's a bad idea to sign with a major, but really understand what you got. So this is I'm gonna give you a scenario. T Pain signed with Convict Music for $10,000. Turned $10,000 into 5.3 million in a 16-month period. So this means that he had one song hot with Convict, and he networked his ass off with Khaled and Plies and all these other Rick Ross and Trick Daddy and and he understood the publishing game, and so he was able to recoup all his money, for the videos and for the studio time, and even just paid Akon out back the first year. But Akon brother had advised him to give T Pain 1.2 million when he first signed him, but he wanted this. He said this guy gonna blow, and the rest is history. He just sold his catalog for 125 million. You know what I mean? So
He
the
was
the, the
smart.
rest is history.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
he's very
smart.
smart.
But it's
Yeah, yeah. So
important. Yeah, it's important to
yeah,
know the
so
business. It's important to understand the lingo and read the fine print, because
mhm.
you know you don't want to walk away with just a scooter and maybe a couple $100. It happens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I would tell you, with you being a songwriter and a vocalist, I would definitely tell you, man, that there's going to be some major labels coming at you. I see what you're doing because they're right now trying to get R&B back to what it was. They feel like the R&B artists intertwined with the rap artists too much, and it's not that soul centric R&B anymore. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so they want to get it back to what it was because hip hop has overshadowed the R&B. Now, I grew up in a time where yeah, hip hop got radio play, but it did not overshadow R&B. You know what I'm saying? You had these certain radio personalities. You knew they was R&B heads, and you know you was gonna get that good R&B. But now you have even the radio personalities. You know they want to mix the R&B and hip hop in together. No, 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 no. That we don't need to be doing that. We if 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 I'm listening to Teddy and you following Teddy up with some Phyllis Hyman and then and then you got some Whitney and then you got some Howard Hewitt on there. Like, man, you don't need to be having Trick Daddy playing behind Howard Hewitt. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? No, we
And
can't do that. So,
it was like that in the early days for me. Trying because R&B shows are popular now, but back then they weren't. So you would have to perform on a hip hop show, where there's predominantly rappers, maybe one or two R&B singers,
hmm
um, to actually start getting your name and face out there. Now, if it's not R&B, I'm not on the lineup. I'm not, and I'm not bougie about it, but I don't fit. You know what I mean? I don't fit unless it's like a combination, like the I Love Hip Hop '90s R&B concert series, something like that, where you may have like a CL
right,
Smooth and myself, or things like that will happen, but they're still
right.
kind of like rhythmic rap almost, very mellow rap. It's not I'm
hmm
not gonna be up there with Onyx or Das Effects. Anybody
Yeah,
like that,
yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah,
It has to
yeah.
make sense.
But I really could see you doing a track with Joyner Lucas for sure.
Yeah, I maybe
I'm
like
I'm 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 gonna tell you why I say that. Because sometimes Joyner I have these producers that have these kind of wavy type tracks where you can hear R&B singer on the hook. That's why I
mhm.
said it. And Joyner is not a hardcore rugged, I shoot you up type rapper. Like he's
Yeah,
like a
no.
real lyric. He's a
He's a
real
lyricist.
lyricist,
Yeah.
lyrical, and he speaks about some deep subjects. That's
Yeah.
why I said that. You
I
know what I
mean, we're
mean?
from the same city. I like his music.
hmm
I really do. He's a cool individual. As you know when you see a kid grow up and you're like, you grown now. That's kind of how it is with Jordan.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
know his parents, I know his auntie. Like me and his aunt used to go to school, but we all grew up together. We all know each other. So his success for the 508, it was great. And the question reigns, who's next? Well,
Yeah.
I think I am, but I
Right,
think,
right, 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 right.
but we're two different genres. And if we both can come together and make that work, I'm always down to do that, because we're repping the same city, the same state, and we both been doing it for the longest time. I remember his aunt had a hair
Right.
salon that had a studio in it, and we would all be in that same studio recording, him included. And so
hmm
there is history there,
Right.
and it could happen.
That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. So let's talk about your new single, Entanglement. So
Yeah.
tell me about why you call it that. How'd you come up with this name? What happened? What did you see?
Oh Lord, I've seen too much. I just seen too much.
Okay,
You
okay.
know, Jada Pinkett, she kicked it off because I wouldn't know what had called the song if she didn't initially say she was in entanglement.
hmm
But just seeing situations and scenarios, and I don't feel like I can't even escape it. It's still happening to this day where lots of people are in open relationships or, practicing polygamy and all this stuff. And I'm like, what happened to monogamy? One woman, one man relationship. That's it. No outside interference. And people are really comfortable with that situation. And I'm not judging, it's not my job to do that. But, I'm inquisitive, so I ask questions. And I'm like, please don't take this offensive. I'm not trying to be. I'm just curious, as to sorry, as to how do you make it work? You know what I mean? Do Are there certain roles? Are there days? Like how does this work out? And they're really comfortable in it. And I said,
Oh man.
I gotta write about this.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. I tell people all the time, man. Like that's a whole different level, a whole different mindset, a whole different emotional presence, and then spiritually, what what is your level of connecting? Like you're a male, but you got three women. So you mean to tell me that you can connect with all of their spirits, and that don't do anything to your mindset? Man, that's deep. That's deep.
Yeah, it's a lot of physical, mental, spiritual, financial. Like there's a whole
That
bunch of
too.
factors. Like how?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so,
That's a whole lot. Maybe he
yeah,
calls himself. Maybe he called himself. I'm the king of Zamunda.
probably. And then you got those ones who are cheating, that they got two women or two men, and now you're found out, and decisions have to be made. Who's staying and who's going? Is everybody staying? And how is that going to work? Because now you have to come to some decisions.
Now you're right. You're absolutely right. So, but you're single,
Yeah,
man. Listen, you got some as we said in the South. Them lyrics are real wavy, real wavy. So um, the writing process. What type of writing process was that for you mentally and emotionally?
for me, writing that was a release. It was a relief and a release. Like I said, I'm the air. I'm empathic. So when people are expressing feelings to me, I feel deeply. So but I
Hmm.
have to get that off me because it's not my situation. But I will be stressing it and feeling everything that the other person is feeling. And so for me to get that off me, I have to write about it and to articulate the words sometimes could be tricky. They can, because you're
Hmm.
trying to,
Hmm.
when you write, or at least myself, I'm expressing a feeling, an emotion, a sentiment. Um, you know, there are so many different things in a song, and I'm not thinking when I'm doing it. Some people can sit down and analyze, like, oh, I want to make this relatable, or I want this to emote this feeling. No, I'm just writing.
Hmm.
I'm just writing it. And I need it to make sense when I write it, because if I were having a conversation, and so entanglement, I was starting off in the beginning, I'm talking to the man in the beginning.
Hmm.
Like, I'm sick and tired of you. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
he's
yeah. You
the
said that.
female is, yes, and now the female is standing there, so now I have to address her. Like,
Hmm.
this is what it is, honey. This is the situation. You want him, but he wants me. So what are we doing? And just
And 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 to be honest with you, um, lady girl, we from the outside looking in, and people that we know, people we grew up with, we see those situations all the time. You know what I mean?
right. Hmm.
He or she may be with that person, and I see people all the time who've been together for 25, 30, 40 years, but man, they've been together for 35 years, but they've been unhappy for 20 of them. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Right.
and, and and from family members to homeboys, and they be like, man, I don't know what to do. Yeah, yeah, well, like,
Time to
well,
listen to
you do,
entanglement.
you do, cause you know how it once was, and
Hmm.
how you made her happy, how she made you happy. Like, who did you let infiltrate the situation?
Right.
Because we can let society tell us what we should do and what we should be, and when society don't give two shits about us,
Right. So
you
I
know what I
think
mean?
people like, yeah, and like you said, you see it. And so, like, what do you do? Especially if you are the advisor. People are coming to you for the advice on what they should do. Now you have that on you. How do you get it off of you?
Man, listen. Let me tell you something. I said to myself, man, sometimes I feel like I be in the wrong field, man, because boy, the the stuff that I have had to encounter in here, and I had to tell one of my homeboys. I said, look at me. We ain't gonna do this. We ain't gonna do this, man. Every time we are doing this right here, bro, you always got something going on. We can't even never talk about the game, man. It's always she doing this or you doing this. I was like, man, man. I was like, if we can't have a healthy conversation, man, then we don't. You man, you don't need to be calling my
How
phone,
good
man.
talks are made, though.
Yeah,
Exactly how
yeah,
good
yeah,
talks
yeah.
are made.
Yeah, man, we need to have a healthy conversation, man. A healthy conversation. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Because when you have healthy conversations, the communication flow well. You know what I mean? But
mhm.
if you got a friend or a cousin or a family member that's always a Debbie Downer, man, that's a lot to carry. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then you end up snapping on people and they ain't even did nothing to you.
right. So you got to have a release for that. And that's why I
Yeah.
write. And I tell people all the time, like, listen, it might not be today, might not be, might not even be this year, but I might just write a song. I
I
might write a
I
song
love
about you.
I love your hit single, Entanglement. I love it, man. It's so smooth, so centric. It's real R&B. It gives you it gives you that vibe. Some people might hear that song and might even want to go back and apologize to they mate. For real, for
They
real.
might. They might. Because, I mean, you put them through some things, you know? And then, for those who stay and I would say allow, tolerate, put up with, right? There's no judgment, but it's a situation, but eventually people get tired of being tired, you know? And the way that the EP is set up is like Entanglement is actually supposed to be the middle song. I made it the first song. It's supposed to be the middle song because I'm telling a story. So it starts like
Mhm,
sweet as taboo when the love is
mhm,
good and everything is great and is thriving and it's euphoric. And then, sometimes people leave and they go away. It could be military, it could be school, could be whatever, prison, anything like that. They go away and it's that
mhm,
I want you to stay comes after that. And entanglement is right in the middle. You're begging this person to stay with you because you love them and now you find out there's an entanglement happening. you know and then after
yeah.
entanglement comes unlucky in love because it's that feeling of why don't I have luck in love, why is it always something go wrong for me, and are you settling when you're in an entanglement, you feeling unlucky. So after unlucky in love, sometimes in that phase, people actually get it together. You get it together as a person or a couple, whichever way it goes. In the end, you're going to end up happy. Whichever way you choose to go, whether it's yourself or to stay with this person and you have set your boundaries and you have grown together, there is always a happily ever after for most people. And that's how I set up the EP. I wanted to
Yeah,
tell
but
people my story.
okay. So your EP is like a R&B mini movie.
Yes. And I'm shooting one for it.
Okay. Okay. Great. So it is about our time to get off, but y'all go scream that entanglement, man. Lady Girl.
Yes,
L
please.
A
Thank
D
you.
I I girl. Go scream that, man. Go scream that. Give us some feedback. Talk to her. talk to her, hit her for DMs, cause she definitely talked back like she loved fan engagement. So just talk to her and vibe with her. And if you want her to come to your city, talk to her people. And I'm pretty sure that she'll come to your city and bless the stage with that phenomenal voice. You know what I mean? Just holler at her. So are there any closing remarks you want to say, or any shout outs you want to give, or any up and coming? Oh, bingo. I'm gonna say this right here. Shout out to my boy from the Heritage Awards. Shout out to him, man. I seen you up for award. You know what I
I
mean? And,
am.
and,
Yes,
and, and,
shout out to Karev and the whole team over at the Heritage Awards, Heritage Hip Hop Awards in Jersey. I am
mm-hmm,
nominated in two categories. One is Solo Artist of the Year and Album of the Year. So I'm excited about that. Um,
okay,
Next month, September 12th, we have a show put together with myself, Nevaeh OTR out of North Carolina. Michael Bivins has an act that's coming out, and Jay Holiday himself, Mr. Put You to Bed. We are all going to take part in this R&B show, so I'm excited. That's happening here in Worcester, Massachusetts, at 26 Millbury Street at Electric Haze.
okay,
Um,
okay.
I just, shout out
So,
to
so,
MJ.
so, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Shout out to her as well, no doubt. So, man, Jay Holiday gonna put him to bed, and then they might even suffocate after that. Good
They
Lord, have
just
mercy.
might. Listen, and all the women will be like, "It's yours, man. It's yours." They will be singing his songs.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
cause when he was out there touring heavy, man, he definitely used to sing their draws off for sure,
Yes, yes. So we
for
we
sure.
performed on the same stage once before, a couple years back, for Summer Jam. That was great, and he did his thing then. It was myself, him, Kiki Wyatt, Ray Royale out of Boston, Little Mo. So it was a great show. It was something great to be a part of.
You
And so
said
we're
you said Ray. Who?
Ray Royale.
I haven't heard that name in so long.
Yes,
Wow,
he's still doing his thing.
man,
He's
that's so dope. That's so dope. That's so dope, man. I'm glad to see he's still doing his thing, man. So are there are there any more people that you would definitely like to highlight, like some people that's on your team? Because I need to get familiar with your team as well, because I might want to have them on the show as well. So if you
Yes,
can go ahead
absolutely.
and drop those jewels as well.
Shout out to DJ Rashid. He's Rashid Sequeira. You can look him up on all the social media. He manages everything for me. Marissa, Servino, she's my PR publicist person. She has been working her behind off for me, which I appreciate so much. Everybody over at Fleet DJs, all the DJs who have me in the mix, you know what I mean? I really, really appreciate it. Um, Shout out to Tito Puente Jr. and Chrissy Isai, who came out to our city yesterday and, showed me so much love at the Latin Festival. Shout out to Coach Dana Chavez, who hit me up today on Instagram and said, I want to be on Chatterbox TV. And I said, well, I will let him know.
She
Um,
said, what, huh?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Coach Dana Chavez, he hit me up, and I know him. His name is Dana Chavez. He's does basketball for youth, and he's an entrepreneur. He's doing really big things. And he was like, "I want to be on Chatterbox TV." And I said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna make sure that I let him know you want to be on Chatterbox TV."
Okay.
And
And
shout
we,
out
we
to
can
you.
we can make it happen. We can have him on. Thank you. We can have him on Chatterbox TV, but we can also have him on 101 Sports TV as
Okay,
well, for sure.
okay. So I will help him
Yeah,
get
yeah. So
connected with
we can do
you.
it, but please do, please do, please do. And I would like to say I do thank you for tapping in with me, man. And I want to say shout out to my home girl, Treese Aves from Boston. I think it's 104.9, the biggest college radio station in Boston. You know what I mean? Shout out to her. I've been rocking with her for a very, very long time.
Hey,
And
Chama, that's my girl.
yeah. And I'm gonna definitely hit up tomorrow and let her know that I had you on the show, and you know we gonna build. So shout out to you, shout out to your publicist MJ, and man, shout out to your whole team, and man, and collectively keep doing what you're doing. You know, there's a there's a there's definitely a blessing with your name on it, man. So keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
All righty. So I mean, I'm gonna say peace, love, and y'all have the rest of a blessed week. Peace.